Hello, everybody. We've got a show that promises to be at least mildly interesting for your listening and watching enjoyment. I'm your host, Jared Correia. I'm the CEO of Red Cave Law Firm Consulting. For the monologue, we're cracking open a brand new perfect album. Yes, that's right, to add to our list. In the interview, we've got Larry Port of WaySpark. After exiting Rocket Matter, Larry has a lot going on. On the counter program, we brought back Hard Work, trying to figure out whether jobs I describe are real or fake. Now, let's all go howl at the moon. That's right, everybody. We've got another perfect album to tee up for y'all. And for the first time, I've invited a guest into the inner sanctum. Larry Port, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
This is great. You're going to be the first person ever to do 3 segments on the podcast.
I made it. I've survived. I have a mug with like perfect albums.
Those are all your perfect albums on a mug.
Yeah, well, albums I like a lot. There's some albums on here that maybe have 1 or 2 songs that aren't so awesome, but whatever.
Can I give you, so usually when I start these segments, I do a list of the albums I've chosen as perfect albums so far. Not a complete list. Can I read those off, and then you can tell me if you got any surprises or disappointments, or you're like, that's actually a terrible album. Okay, here we go. The Who's Next, 1971. Billy Joel, Street Life Serenade, 1974.
That's interesting. You chose that one over The Stranger that you chose.
Yes.
Okay.
I was back. So I actually have 2 Billy Joel albums on the list. I got that one, and I got An Innocent Man from 1983. Chosen both over The Stranger, but that was difficult. That was hard.
All right. Interesting.
Would The Stranger be your number 1 Billy Joel album?
Listen, I think, yes. I mean, maybe the last 2 songs aren't the best, or the last song isn't the best, but the just strength of songwriting on that album, oh my God. And then it's like, it themes from an Italian restaurant. It's like he had so much inspiration that he wrote like 3 songs, and just made 1 song.
I always play like scenes from the Italian restaurant in the car. And my kids are always like, how fucking long is this song? It's like 8 minutes. I'm like, no. Just let it wash over you. That's why I left it off, though, because I don't like that. Like, Everybody Has a Dream is a fucking terrible song.
Should wash their mouths out with soap if they're saying how fucking long is this album or song.
Maybe I should, but I'm a bad parent.
Okay, good.
Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown, 1974.
Okay.
Paul Simon.
I haven't listened to that.
Oh, you should listen to that. It's a great album.
I will.
I'm a big Gordon Lightfoot guy. Paul Simon, Graceland, 1986.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's a great album.
Sun Volt, Anodyne, 1993.
Don't know it.
So, Uncle Tupelo?
I'm starting to feel like an idiot. No, I don't know that either. Is it a type of honey?
No. Country rock band from like the mid 90s.
Ooh, I would like that. I would like that.
Uncle Tupelo, Wilco, and then Sun Volt, all kind of like emanating from the same group of people.
Interesting. There was this obscure band from Pittsburgh that had an album that I loved. The band was called the Rabups, and the album was called Chance. And it was just spectacular, but nobody knows it outside of people who grew up in Pennsylvania.
I'm going to listen to it now. Is it about Pennsylvania, or is it just like a good album?
It's just a great album.
Okay. This is great. I only got 4 more for you. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, 1993.
Okay.
Sheryl Crow, The Globe Sessions, 1998.
Wow.
Yeah. Coldplay, Viva La Vida, 2008.
I have a different Coldplay album that I think is a perfect album.
Oh, what is it?
I like X and Y. X and Y is the one that has
is that Speed of Sound? Yes.
Fix You. That's one of those albums that like a lot of the songs that aren't hits are just like some of my favorite songs. Although Fix You is like one of my favorite all-time songs, but
it's a great song.
Yeah, there's a song on there called I think it's called The Message that I love, and Swallowed by the Sea is a great song.
Oh, that's an amazing song. That is a really good album.
Yes.
I think a lot of it is like vibes and time of your life type of stuff. I got
Could
married
be.
in 2007, and I just remember like listening to Coldplay all the time after that. I don't know what that says about me. So
Very cool.
last one, Taylor Swift, Folklore. Are you a Swiftie?
I gotta know, but like people that I know, including you, that are like big into music, like I have this friend up in Massachusetts who is like super into Allman Brothers and all that kind of like old 70s stuff, and he's like major in Taylor Swift. So
Yeah, she's really good. My next perfect album, though, is Full Moon Fever by Tom Petty, which I believe is on your mug.
Here. Yes, it is on my mug. It is this one right here that looks like it's like the Jamaican flag or whatever.
Yeah, very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to give you first cuts here. Thoughts on the album?
Okay. Well, I mean, look, it's like from start to finish, it's a great album. It has amazing songwriting. It has amazing guitar playing. It's got his wit.
Yes.
And there's a couple things about this album. Like so like I love listening to Tom Petty. I am not like Mr. know everything about Tom Petty, but I do know that this album is the first album that he recorded solo without the Heartbreakers.
Yes.
So, however, most of the Heartbreakers like play on the album.
Yes. I mean, it's interesting because like this was like when his sound changed. I feel like this is like now. So like Jeff Lynne comes in, and then you got
the ELO guy, right?
Yes. So like, I think this is an amazing run for Tom Petty. You got Traveling Wilburys Volume 1 in 88, Full Moon Fever in 89, Traveling Wilburys Volume 3 in 90, and then Into the Great Wide Open in 91, back with the Heartbreakers. That's just crazy. 4 years.
Well, it's like, and also like his collaboration with Jeff Lynne, it's almost like, I mean, listen, I know it might be blasphemous to say like Lennon and McCartney, but they had a magic, you know? Like their
Especially
songs are
for
so
that
good.
time period.
Yeah. Also, I mean, he plays a lot of 12-string guitar, which like has that like big, rich acoustic sound that you hear on like You're So Bad, or Feel a Whole Lot Better. I didn't even know that Feel a Whole Lot Better was a cover.
One of the best covers of all time, I feel like. I love that song.
It's a great song. It is such a great. In fact, yeah, I would say it arguably is better than the original. But maybe that's because I was familiar with it before I heard the original. And then I guess he was a huge Del Shannon fan, and that's why he says like me and Del were singing in Running Down a Dream. Because I just thought it was like his dipshit friend Del. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Who cares who this guy is? I don't care if you're singing with Del.
You're like, who is this asshole?
Yeah, who's this asshole, Del? And you know, the one thing I will say is that, like, as someone who is like grew up in the middle of Pennsylvania, which is like so much less cool than California, like I felt like all the references to like California roads and things like that, and locations and Free Fallin', like I love the song, but it just kind of like rubbed it in that I was not in a cool place.
Free Fallin'. I think this album came out when I was like 11 or something like that. And I remember Free Fallin', I was like, holy shit, like California must be like so amazing. I'm like, what am I doing on the East Coast? It's snowing right now.
I know. And there's like always like there's so many songs about like you know, cities and streets in LA that when you finally get there, you're like, oh my gosh, there's that. But what's interesting is this album has the song I Won't Back Down. And which is like one of my all-time favorite songs because you know, I think a lot of us really identify with that spirit. I mean, maybe he was inspired by I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. I don't know.
Maybe.
But the sentiment is like, I mean, how can you not love that sentiment? I mean, you know, it's just like whenever you get knocked around, just that power you feel when you get back up and you get out there, like is like the best feeling. And So he is from Gainesville, Florida, in my now adopted home state. And so when Gainesville is also the location of the University of Florida. So during University of Florida football games, they sing "I Won't Back Down." That's their song now. The same way they sing "Hang On Sloopy" at Ohio State, or half the songs and half the stadiums in the nation are singing that killer song. What's it called? That one killer song that everybody's Mr. Brightside. It's like anthem for Gen Z or something.
Yes. It's just okay. It's an okay song. I don't want hate mail, but like it's all right.
There's a much better song on that album. There's a song called "All the Things That I've Done."
Is that the Mr. Brightside album?
It's called Hot Fuzz.
Or is that hot? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
I was going to say Sam's Town, but that's not right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so All the Things That I've Done is this. In fact, it has like the best all-time bridge, which is like I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. That part. So my kid, she showed me this meme of the best bridges of all time, and it was like a picture of like the Brooklyn Bridge, like the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, and it was like the bridge from that song.
That's great. I love that. All right, I get it. Have you ever heard the Johnny Cash cover of "I Won't Back Down" from the American recordings?
No, that's
pretty good. And then
I'll have to listen to that.
Him and Petty do a duet on a song called "The Running Kind." So I
had no idea that was even a thing. That's probably my favorite song from the album. And
"I Won't Back Down" is really.
Yeah, and when I was like, "You're So Bad" is also a fun song to play on the guitar because it's pretty easy. So like it's a good one to strum and like when you're starting out to learn. I just feel like there's so many catchy good songs on this album. And it is kind of curious though, when we were talking about "I Won't Back Down," that I looked this up right before we got on here, but the last part of "Free Fallin'," which is the track immediately before, says "I want to free fall out into nothing, gonna leave this world for a while." So maybe there's kind of like different ideas going on this album.
I think so.
Right.
I don't. So "Free Fallin' is my favorite song on this album.
Really? Okay.
I think it's like almost a perfect song. Like I just love that song. And like you were saying, like my kids even like "Free Fallin'," and I'm like, okay, this song's got some juice. Let me ask you this though: what you mentioned "Feel a Whole Lot Better." The Apartment songs also on this album.
Right.
There's a lot of good like non-single tracks. Do you have a favorite among those? Like is "Feel a Whole Lot Better" like your favorite among the songs that like weren't released? Depending on You is also a really good song, which was never released as a single.
I mean, I think like when this album came out, I was probably a little older than you. I was probably like 14 or 15. And so like "Zombie Zoo" may have is up there for me, because it's just such a goofy song.
It's such a whack song, and it's like the last song on the album. It's like, where did this shit come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Roy Orbison singing backup on that song for those interested in listening to the track.
You're kidding. Because this was back in the Traveling Wilbury kind of heyday stuff.
The heyday of the Wilburys, which lasted 3 years. So we were talking about this before we got on to record today, but what's really awesome about this album is it's got a message in the middle of it for people who are listening on CDs. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? As everyone who's under 30 is like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Right. Okay. So it's actually at the end of "Running Down a Dream" on the 5th track. And it's midway through the album. And he says something like, "Attention CD listeners, this is the now," and this is the and also there's chickens in the background, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Okay, it's actually Del Shannon, who you mentioned before. He's making barnyard noises. That's the guy who's doing the sounds on this.
Oh, he's mimicking those noises?
Yes.
Okay, so they didn't take Tom Petty out and record him with a bunch of chickens in the background. That's not how this happened.
That's Del Shannon. That's that asshole you were talking about before.
So it's a legend making chicken noises.
Right.
Yeah, so he says, attention CD listeners, this is the time where people listening to the album have to get up and turn it over or their tape. And it's just funny and witty and dry and droll, like the way he talks. And then it launches right into this like beautiful 12-string strumming on Feel a Whole Lot Better. So good
I feel like that's my favorite. Yeah, I mean, for me, like the Apartment song and Feel a Whole Lot Better are like two undiscovered gems for a lot of people on this album. So if you've never listened to those songs before, do that right now. All right. Did you also know that Petty wrote a demo track for this album called Indiana Girl, which later became Mary Jane's Last Dance, which was released on the 1993 Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' Greatest Hits albums, which is, to my mind, one of the best Petty songs as well. How do you feel about Mary Jane's Last Dance? I love that track.
Tell me why you like that track. Everybody likes that track but me. I kind of like,
I think it's kind of a vibe. Like I like the guitar. It's kind of dirty, a little salty. That's what I like about it. It's a little bit kind of grungy for Tom Petty, is what I think. But you don't like it.
I'm not crazy about it. Like I don't get I don't get wild about that song the way a lot of people do, and it gets a lot of radio play. So.
It does. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you remember the video with Kim Basinger?
No. I have like major gaps in my like. When did that come out? Did you say?
93.
Okay, that would make sense because like when I was in college, which was like
that's when Larry discovered mushrooms. Anyway.
Yes, and I was like a film major at that time, and it's like
I didn't know that
film. Yeah, I was my undergraduate. I studied radio, television, film at Northwestern, and then I studied abroad. So, I got a second degree in Hispanic studies. So I double majored, but it just sounds like I studied like 15 things because I studied radio, TV, film, and Hispanic studies at Northwestern. So, but yeah, so like I don't know, I was like one of these like film school snobs who like wouldn't watch television. So they
really?
poison your mind.
So wait, did you like? So this album had like a ton of crazy, like the Free Falling video is like. Do you remember that one?
No, I haven't seen any of that shit.
Oh my god! All right, so check out the Free Falling video. Running Down a Dream video is animated. I Won't Back Down has a video with like Ringo Starr and George Harrison in it. Like there's some. I mean, I wasn't a film school snob, so I watched all these things. But
you would think I would. You would think
cool.
that'd be like, because they do experiment in those kind of things. But I don't know what happened. I used to watch MTV all the time, like in the early '80s, and I don't know if it was because once I saw the Thriller video, and I was like 8 years old and so scared shitless.
Oh
yeah. No, I was just like so traumatized by the Thriller video because I saw it when I was like 8 years old. Like I remember my cousin and I were like playing Legos and we're like, we're gonna stay up and watch a Thriller video. And he's like, I don't think it's a good idea. And I'm like, I want to watch it. And then we watched it and we were just like,
it's terrible timing.
Yeah. So that may have been it for me in MTV. I can't remember because like after that I don't really remember it.
I had a similar experience with the E.T. movie. One more question for you before we move into the next segment. The less said about that, the better. Is this your number one album for Tom Petty?
No.
What's number one for you? Do you have one? You could do Petty and the Heartbreakers. You could do Traveling Wilburys. I mean, the only thing that comes close for me is Wildflowers. But go ahead.
Oh, you're talking about Tom Petty albums, not albums of all times. Oh, yeah, for Petty, yes.
You could. Best Petty album, Full Moon Fever.
For me, yes.
You brought it up. Do you have a number one album of all time, of all the albums?
I mean, I just feel like it's hard to pick one because like usually, like you said, there's excellent albums, but there's also excellent albums that intersect with the time of your life. Like, when I think of Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins, I just remember like that's just such a coming of age time for me, driving around with my friends in high school. When I think of, I don't know, when I think of U2, the Joshua Tree, it reminds me of like me and my wife when we were dating. When I think of Dark Side of the Moon, I'm sure like everybody else, that conjures certain memories.
I thought we already covered the mushrooms. Yeah, that's a good list though. That's a good 3 that you mentioned right there.
Mm-hmm. And I got to be honest, the probably the album that I listen to the most is one that I don't consider perfect, which is Abbey Road.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think it's just an unbelievably brilliant album, but it has Maxwell's Silver Hammer, which is one of these like Paul McCartney's, like, he writes these songs sometimes that are these like boom, boom, like,
everybody
like British
fucking hates Maxwell Silverhammer, like everyone.
Well, it's because it's like, and he's one of the greatest songwriters of all time, but you have that one and you have the Christmas song that I can't even be in a room when that song comes on.
Yeah.
So
he's got some bad ones. So what do you like better? The back half of Abbey Road with the medley, or like the front half?
Well, if let's say that I create a playlist on Spotify and I bring over all the tracks except for Maxwell Silverhammer, then I just Something is just such a gorgeous song. But then that may be one of my favorite songs of all time. But that sequence with Polythene Pam and Mean Mr. Mustard, and she came in through the bathroom window, is just such an awesome sequence. Yeah. So
I like
to
how
me that's kind of like the
I like how
highlight
you
of the
make
album.
a playlist of Abbey Road where you just excise Maxwell Silverhammer, and you're like,
I think it's
this is how it should have been.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody has that playlist, Abbey Road as it should have been.
I'm going to throw that on for this episode.
By the way,
I'm going to do Abbey Road, Larry's version.
Apparently also he drove everybody nuts recording that song because he had them all do it like a gazillion times. That had to be like a certain way, is the story I heard about Abbey Road.
Yeah, you got to get those hammer knocks just right. This was fun. I must confess, I have a full moon fever, and the only cure is more Larry Port. So will you come back and do an interview?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Excellent. All right, we'll be back with Larry Port in a second. Well, I've effectively run out of things to say, which is awkward because this is a podcast. So I'm going to go out and finish shoveling snow, which seems like all I do these days. I'll be back in about an hour. Be cool. I'll be right back. Actually, while that sounds like it's rather necessary, I guess it can wait. We'll stay snowed in. Let's bring in our new guest instead. Rubbing it in, I feel like. We've got Larry Port sitting right in front of a palm tree. That's fucked up. How you doing, Larry?
I'm good. I'm chilling. It's like, what is it? I don't know. I can check my watch. What is it? With modern technology, 68 degrees right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. I can't believe
there's people
Evan
around here walking around in like puffer jackets though. Like
well, that's Florida for you, right?
People walking around with scarves on their head.
Can I tell you, I was out shoveling the other day, 2 feet of snow, shorts and a t-shirt like a boss. That's how we do it in New England.
You do work up a sweat. And look, it was like so cold that it's like light snow, right? It wasn't big, heavy snow, right?
No, it was fine. It wasn't that bad
all
at
right,
all.
so you got nothing to bitch about.
Yeah, I'll stop. Thanks for coming in. So
thank you for having me.
People listening, if they know of you, which is certainly most of the world, they're probably thinking, Larry Port, the Rocket Matter guy, right? Not anymore.
No longer.
So
not for like a while now. Not for like since like 2023 September, last day of September. Can never remember if they have 30 or 31 days that month, but that was it.
So for the uninitiated, you've sold Rocket Matter. You're out. You're enjoying your life.
I'm out. I'm enjoying my life. I'm getting better at pickleball, I would say. Spending a lot of time volunteering. I'm starting a new endeavor, taking a lot of naps.
That's beautiful.
It's been quite delightful. Yes. Yes.
Can we
absolutely.
talk a
Give me
little
one.
bit about the Can we talk a little bit about the Rocket Matter thing before we get into that? I
Sure.
I feel like you did the Rocket Matter thing for a long time. You had a lot
Oh
of
yeah, it was a long
success
time.
with that. Like, not easy to do. Like, what is that process like from an emotional standpoint? Like, I would imagine it's hard to be like, here's this thing I created and nurtured for years, and now it's yours. Please don't fuck it up. Like, what is that like?
To be honest, it was like I was so ready to move on. And it was it had run, for me, it was the adventure. I'm a creative person. And so for me, really kind of like Rocket Matter starting, it wasn't so much almost about starting a business. I was so in love with building software at that time and had been so used to seeing crappy software. I mean, I worked for this place, Ultimate Software, and I'm sorry, guys, but your software was so awful.
So what you're saying is it wasn't the ultimate software. All right, proceed.
It wasn't even the penultimate software or the anti-penultimate software. It was just like, it was so poorly designed. And I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but it was just so awful, that software. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, let me build something that's perfect. And, I had been doing stuff enough at that time that I'm like, let me try and build the perfect application. And I just didn't know what to apply it to. And a lot of my attorney friends were complaining about their software. And then I looked around and I saw the user interfaces for Time Matters and PC Law, which are, effective softwares. And, but they were Windows 95 based and they were really ugly and clunky and limiting. So I decided to build what I knew, which was web-based software. And that's kind of how it started. But once you build something and then you grow something, at some point, once you get successful enough, which God bless, we were able to do, it's about improving processes. And when you're a creative and improving processes and following processes and refining them and sales and making sure you have the numbers, that's no longer fun for a creative. So, I was happy to just like move on to the next chapter, to be brutally honest.
So you've been working on different stuff. I noticed you mentioned napping. I noticed on LinkedIn the other day, you're like, I need to create a napping app. How's that going?
That was supposed to be satire, and I think people thought I was serious. Everybody's so earnest on LinkedIn that I think it needs more humor. So I'm like, okay, I'm really good at napping after corporate America. And it's like, anytime I think like, oh, does it make sense to jump back in there? I'm like, no, I don't know that they'd be so cool with my napping question during the interview. So
when is nap time exactly?
It's not every day, but like, okay, I will tell you one thing.
Can I tell you, I'm a terrible napper. So I'm interested to know, like, do you have a schedule? Does it just happen organically? Like, what does napping look like?
Napping for me occurs when there is like this like kind of like gravitational pull towards the couch and I can't resist it. And I would nap actually when I was running Rocket Matter. Like it wasn't like I'd like fall asleep for 2 hours, but like sometimes around 3, I'd just be so tired. I would just like, I had, when you run the office, you get to have like a nice big couch in your office. And so I would fall asleep in the office. But then after people would take pictures of me, I installed blinds on my office door so they could no longer do that.
Oh, I like
this. And then when I first like stopped working at Rocket Matter, it took me like, I don't know how long, 3 months, 6 months to like kind of regain my energy levels and my equilibrium. It was brutal. And so I don't know, it was just like, it was such a wild ride for so long and such an adrenaline thing to be in charge of a business that when I first stopped, I thought I'd just roll right into my next endeavor. It just took forever for me to get my energy back up. And I was doing serious nap time, man. I tell you what, like 1 hour naps, 1.5 hour naps, not unheard of in those days. Now, if I'm a little tired, maybe I'll squeeze off a 20-30 minute nap, but it's not, I force myself to do this. It's just kind of just happens. In fact, I feel one coming on right now.
Great. Now that's an advertisement for this show if I've ever heard one. Larry's literally going to take a nap in the middle of the podcast. I know, I'm very exciting. All right, let me ask you one more nap-based question, if I may. How do you
Cool.
wake yourself up from a nap? Is it an alarm? Do you naturally wake up? Okay.
Oh, you cannot leave yourself to your own devices.
Okay.
Because you're unconscious.
Okay.
So you gotta set a timer. And
You're
the
not
thing
like,
is,
oh, fuck, it's like 11 p.m. What happened?
actually, now that we're talking about this, I can't believe how much I know about this, but you're not supposed to really nap for more than like 25 or 30 minutes, or you're like, you may screw up your like circadian rhythm. So it's like, I try and set a timer for like half an hour.
Huh. Okay, this is good to know.
Yeah.
One of these
Last
days I'll
night,
get
though,
there.
I had really disruptive dreams. I had this dream that I was doing a podcast with Danny DeVito. It is weird, though. I am
This
doing
is
a podcast
certainly a
with you
come
now.
down. But this is a come down from Danny DeVito, let's be honest. It's a fucking penguin.
It was just such a crazy dream, and I just was very disruptive sleep. So I'm surprised that when things like this happen, normally I'll have to nap, but today I feel fine.
All right, good. Okay, so in addition to, around your naps, you're also doing a lot of like pro bono community work, and I think that's awesome. So what have you been up to as far as that's concerned?
Well, let's see. One thing is that I'm a big fan of Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they have chapters all over the country. So the way it works is, if you're not familiar with it, they have big brothers who get paired with boys, kids. I'm in a program called School to Work, where it's like an hour, 45 minutes a month, and I work with a kid who's not as lucky as my kids on what they're going to do in college, things they learn about LinkedIn, they learn about interviewing, they learn about all these different things. Yeah. The main Big Brothers program, is a bit more involved, where you spend like maybe 3 or 4 hours with your little, maybe once a month. And it's a beautiful program. There seem to be more female volunteers than male volunteers, so they're always looking for men to go and be mentors. But it's always local. So like I do mine with like Palm Beach and Martin counties is the chapter of Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I'm a big fan of that one.
That's a great program.
Have
you ever seen the movie Role Models?
Oh, wait a second. I think I have. Who's in that movie?
Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott. It's basically about Big Brothers, Big Sisters. It's fucking hilarious. You should watch it.
Okay. All right, I got to watch it.
I'm going to send you the link after this. All right, go ahead. I interrupted you. Great organization, by the way.
So down here, you think like everything would be all jacked up because we live in Florida, but they do some things right. And the blood drives are really really good. So they're always driving this big red bus around, but I go to the like office and I give blood. Now I can't I give blood and I give platelets. So give a blood.
You like do you have like a rare blood type, or are you just like I donate blood? I like to.
My blood is A positive, which I think is like pretty common.
Okay.
But it's like, I don't know, people keep needing blood for one reason or another. So, and it's a good thing to do. For me, it's easy. It's not for everybody, because like I drain a bag in like 6 minutes. Now,
oh my God,
it turns
that
out
sounds fast.
It's like crazy. I'm like, don't go away, or the bag's going to explode all over the floor. And so, and they give you free t-shirts and stuff. This is one that they just gave me. But my doctor told me I'm not supposed to give any more red blood until further notice, because I've given so much that like apparently I'm anemic. And then we also, we have 3 rescue animals. So we have 2 rescue dogs and a rescue cat that just kind of showed up at our house, and I fed tuna fish, and now
that was your first
she's
mistake.
our cat. Yeah, exactly. And then and the local shelter, like you get to go and you can walk the dogs, and it's a needed thing. So I can't say enough good things about like, it's really not that hard, actually. I wasn't able to do it when I was at Rocket Matter because I just felt like I was too busy. But in reality,
the time.
There's always time, So
so you think now if you went back to the corporate world, you'd be like, I could squeeze this in. I'm gonna go donate my platelets, and I'll be back after lunch.
And in fact, I think now that I'm thinking about, like, for Big Brothers Big Sisters, I've been doing it long enough that that definitely did overlap with Rocket Matter, and it was at night. So and giving blood's kind of easy. But the animal walking thing, I don't know that I'd be able to do that one, because you kind of like, if you have your own animals and you go walk dogs, you're supposed to like shower and clean up before you go back in your house, because you could be bringing diseases in and shit.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a little involved.
What an interesting life you're leading right now, though. What a combination of activities.
It is quite a combination of activities. And let's not forget pickleball. And
all right. So how are you feeling about pickleball these days? Like, is your game doing all right?
Yeah, I have this weird thing where I don't really dial in until I'm down to game point. So I keep getting myself in these positions where I'm like, you play to 11, and I keep getting myself. The other night I was down like 10-3, and like that's when I start paying attention. And then for some reason at that point I become unstoppable, and that's when I win. So
did you play tennis? Or are you just like, I'm going to try pickleball? Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense.
I played in high school, but and I used to play a lot of. Actually, it's popular up in your neck of the woods, ultimate frisbee.
Yes.
But I'm way too old for that now, because it's just too much running and jumping. It's the jumping's not so hard. It's the landing.
I feel like that's an ACL tear waiting to happen.
It's totally an ACL wear. And then what happens is, like, I know this one guy that was a little bit older than me that's trying to keep up with everybody, and he tore his ACL. Yeah. And then he got surgery on his ACL, and then he rehabbed it, and then he came back out and he was playing pickleball with us again, or not pickleball, ultimate with us again, and then he tore his ACL. And again, same one. So it's like, at some point, it's like, yeah, it's fun to throw a frisbee and chase it down like you're like a retriever.
But after 40, like, this is a bad idea. Like, my wife plays in a softball tournament every year, and it's all like moms. And I'm like, there'll be at least 3 ambulances at this tournament, without a doubt, every year. Like, oh, Jill got hit in the face with a softball. Oh, what a shocker. She's 47 years old.
Well, she's still sliding. Like, when they slide, that's when you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem.
It's fucking nuts.
The thing about for me with pickle is that the court is pretty small, and I'm 6'3".
Right.
So it takes me like 2 steps to get anywhere.
Yeah, that sounds like a big advantage.
I don't really have to move.
You're crushing those elderly women, I'm sure. Okay, I want to ask you one more pickleball question, and then we'll get to other stuff.
Okay.
But like, are you out there like destroying like 73-year-old women? Are you like, you thought you got me, Mildred? I was down 10-3, but this is when I feel the most alive.
It is true that like pretty much anybody can play it. So, so you end up finding yourself playing people that are in their 70s.
Yeah, that must be crazy.
It is crazy. And then it's like also like just the nature of sports in general. It's that when you're chasing a ball or a frisbee, that for that matter, there's a level of like it's like primal, like you forget your environment. So I've had them lob me, and I've jumped up and I've slammed it, and I've hit them with the pickleball before. I mean, I don't go like, I don't
overhead smash. Like, yeah. This is kind of like, now I want to start playing pickleball.
Oh, it's fun. Oh, you hit people with the pickleball, they hit you with the pickleball. It's just part of it, I like it because it's social, because, it's like they're right across the net from you. So there's like, it's a lot of fun. It's very social. If you play with your friends, you just shit talk each other the whole time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So people are probably like, what the fuck is happening here? So let's talk about WaySpark, which is your new project. This is like, would you say this is where you're spending your most time now? Or?
No, but I would say I am working on it. As you can tell, I'm a very busy man.
You got a lot going on. You're like, don't bother me, bro. I'm donating platelets right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm watching 1917. So learning about history. So WaySpark I'm really excited about. And this is kind of, and I don't know if it's probably because I have kids that are in college is where this first came from. So I got a 19-year-old freshman and a 21-year-old junior, and I'm looking at the market, the labor market, and I'm thinking like, geez, I wonder, how things are going to be going for them. And then So I've been just like consuming all this information. There's been a lot of great reporting in the Wall Street Journal about what's happening in the labor market. And there's a lot of slowdown of hiring, right? I think that's kind of, you don't have to be like really glued to the Wall Street Journal to know that.
I mean, fucking shocking to me that tariffs aren't working, but let's go.
That's actually, yeah, the tariffs it's really interesting. We could go in a different direction. I just read that book 1929 and about the crash.
I haven't read that one. Yeah.
And then we can talk, but the tariffs played a major role in that because they enacted those Smoot-Hawley tariffs.
The
like
Smoot-Hawley tariffs
thereafter.
fucked up everything. Yeah.
And it just really further put the squeeze on. But in any case, back to where we are right now, it's not necessarily there's a lot of concern about AI taking a lot of jobs.
Oh, sure.
Especially among white collar work. But it's really hard to see in the data if that's truly what's happening, because one of the major things that's happening is that, especially in for like companies like Amazon, and where you see all these like massive layoffs, and Microsoft, they kind of stock their bench with talent because there are all these talent wars. So they just gobbled up as many engineers as they could find. And then so in response to all this engineering hiring, a lot of computer science departments at universities like grew and started churning out more and more software engineers. So that you have this situation where they started shedding some of their talent. So a lot of the unemployment comes not just from automation, but also from getting rid of all these people on their bench.
Oh, now, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and you have a lot of kids that got these computer science degrees, and I have one, and let me tell you, that is not easy to get. Like, that's a lot of pain to get that degree. So to go out into the workforce and not have options must be devastating for these kids. So in any case, regardless of where you stand on AI and what the data tells you, I think it's really not hard to read the tea leaves if you interact with these systems and see what it might do for law, what it might do for programming, and for a lot of the jobs that are white collar, that are more routine. So, and even like in investment banking, where they hire a lot of young kids, and they're tasked with like putting materials together and putting spreadsheets and presentations and so on and so forth for deals. You can imagine how, with what you've seen with AI, that can be greatly automated. So there are pockets of the workforce that are going to be affected. And so what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to help people figure out what it is they want to do, but also weave that through a lot of the different trends that are happening right now. What jobs are going to be displaced with AI? The silver wave, as they call it, with like, the aging demographic. And also there's a tremendous lack of skilled labor in the workforce right now, as anybody who's tried to have their refrigerator fixed knows.
Yes. I've never heard the term silver wave before. Is that just older people are retiring finally?
Yeah, well, there's this
getting the boomers out of the work first,
getting the boomers like off the planet. So, shuffling off the mortal coil. Well, yeah, but and it's a very top heavy kind of society where there's a lot of older people. They're also just living longer, right?
Yes.
So they're going to be where somebody. They're okay. Like, I think the retirement age of 65 came from like Otto von Bismarck. It's old. And it's because they died. Like, you'd retire at 65 and you die.
You're not living that much longer in like 1890.
Right. So like now people are like living into like 80s, 90s or whatever, unless I kill them on the pickleball court. I'm trying to do my part for the economy. So
good. You're doing yeoman's work out there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like the picture, is that so you have all these older people, and like who's going to take care of them, and it creates a whole bunch of issues, and a lot of the people are retiring out of these kind of skilled labor jobs, and at the same time you're seeing a squeeze maybe with white collar. So there's a lot of different trends. So I think that the trick is helping people identify what it is they want to do for a living, and that's purposeful and meaningful for them, and then weaving through kind of the landscape that we have, and also some skills preparation too. Like people are getting back into the workforce, they might need to know Word, they might need to know Excel, prompting, so on and so forth.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff. So it sounds like you're having a lot of good conversations. Now, are are kids coming to you and they're like, "Hey, I'm identifying all these issues"? Are they aware of all this stuff happening, or is it more education based for you to be like, "Hey, here are some trends you should be aware of. Here are jobs that may be going away. Here are jobs that may be coming up." Is that what the conversations look like?
Yeah, they are more anxious because
Okay.
what they're seeing from their perspective is that just it's very difficult to get a job. Now I don't know about you, but I thought it was tough to get a job like in the 90s when I first started out. It seemed like hard to start your career then. I think
Yeah,
now
I would agree.
it's it's a little trickier for people, especially, I mean the data is showing that there's just not a lot of hiring going on, especially at this like kind of like bottom rung of the market. So usually what the conversation is like they're studying this because they're not sure they know what they want to do. And then you know, they're concerned about not getting a job. They're very concerned about internships. Kids in college are like freaked out
Really?
about internships.
Like,
Yes,
I want an internship and I can't get one, kind of thing.
yes,
Or
exactly.
okay, huh.
Because they're not looking for like my internships when I was in college is like I worked for WQED and I lived in some sort of like slum in Pittsburgh and like I was like like basically like for like nothing, I think, just like helping them work on documentaries. And when I would say helping them work on documentaries, I mean like transcribing hours and hours of video, which obviously is
Oh my God, yeah.
automatable now. Doing research for stuff. But these kids are like they want to be in cities and they are just very like they know that they're not going to be able to get a job really unless they do have an internship. So there's a lot of pressure on them. The internship searches start early. It's just more of the same bullshit for this generation. Like this generation, I feel so bad for. Like it's getting into college is like just everything for them. Even playing team sports and qualifying for a travel team is like, they got to try out for this. Then they got to apply to colleges. And because, there's this whole, it's just, we could go on and on, but like,
I feel like
college
I'm glad
acceptance
you
thing
brought
is
this
nuts.
up. I feel like the younger generations, like what is it, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they get a lot of shit.
I think,
But like,
yeah.
look at the stuff that people have gone through. Like we're post 9/11, pandemic, politics is fucked, the economy's in the shitter. Like I have a lot of sympathy for people trying to get into the job market for the first time. Plus, everything's like everybody's got a smartphone or a tablet shoved in their face. Like I feel like if I grew up in this environment, I'd be almost an entirely different person, and I wouldn't necessarily be fitted for a traditional job. So I think there's a lot of skills acquisition that people have missed, especially around the pandemic, both like personal and professional development.
Oh, I think you're 100% correct. I think, well, first of all, it'll be interesting to kind of look back on all the different cohorts that went through, like what happened to people who were 12 when the pandemic started, what happened to the 13-year-olds, because it affects them all differently at these different developmental stages. But for certain, you're right.
My daughter learned to read not in school, like at home,
Really?
because it was a virtual learning period, which I just think is crazy. Like all that stuff is just wild. You're right. I don't think we've seen the full effects of any of that. So,
And also, I mean, you're also, I mean, a literate person. Like you're a lawyer, and your wife, I'm sure, like, not everybody's like this, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what does it do to language skills and so on and so forth? My wife helps kids brainstorm and put together their college essays for applications. And she says
awesome.
that like with every passing year, the writing skills get worse and worse. So
No one reads
which is a shame.
anymore, which is unfortunate to say the least.
Well, they're reading a lot of books about like hot guys on dragons is what seems to be like popular these days. Somebody
it's like
was
you've
like,
seen my
"Gotta read this
bookshelf."
book." Yeah. Yeah, like what was it? First Wing or something? Somebody's like, "You have got to read this book. It's so awesome." And it was a woman who told me this book. So I'm reading this book and it's like he was so hot on his dragon and his muscles were rippling and he's a bad boy. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit? I'm not surviving this book.
I was reading like old school novels when I was a kid, and like I don't think people do that anymore. I think you're right. So, yeah, it's But I'm glad you're out there helping people. Like, this is a good thing.
Seems, yeah, I think so. I think also, like, you see this starting to happen with these trials are coming up about with like Meta and some of the social media companies. There's like a big class action lawsuit. You see Australia like prohibiting it for people like that are under 16, right? So you have this thing where this entire generation was experimented upon. Then you have the pandemic, and then you have this crazy thing with college where it's gotten so hard to get into college. Where, you know, getting into, and like, we toured Northwestern, which is where my wife and I went with our kid. It is so hard to get into Northwestern that when we were there, like, it just did not look like a fun place. It looked like everybody, you go to the cafeteria, nobody's talking, they're all working. There weren't people that looked like us. Everybody just seemed like really, really beyond even academic. It didn't seem like a place like where our kids wanted. And the social element, I think, is pretty big. And then, you know, so the people that were applying to these like Ivy League schools and the Northwesterns and Dukes, they're now applying to the state schools, and everything keeps getting pushed down. Oh, so
you think there's like a little bit of a trickle down effect here?
Yeah, and some of that's because of some of the schools did away with testing, like mandatory testing requirements, so everybody could apply, and you combine that with something called the Common App, which allows people to apply to all these schools at once. So you had an explosion of things and of applications, and then acceptance rates would go down. And when you're applying to school and the acceptance rate is low, then you have to apply to more schools. So it's just this snowball effect where people just are applying to 20 schools each. And it's so now they're trying to go out into the workforce, and everything in their life has been a struggle. So it's just harder and harder and harder. And now they feel like the rug's being pulled out of them with out from underneath them with AI.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so what's the solution? No, I'm just kidding. So if I said to you, like, okay, what are the main things that have to happen to change this or to improve it for these younger generations? God, I sound so fucking old. What would you say to that?
Well, I think it all boils down to interpersonal communication and relationships. I think, unfortunately, this world that we're in is favoring the people that are more social, the people that can build relationships and talk to other people, and I think that is a major skill that people need to develop. You know, there's obviously that, you know, there's table stakes. Like, they got to know how to prompt. They got to know how to use the tools that are at their disposal these days. But they're not going to get behind these applicant tracking systems that employers use unless they, you know, unless they really start building relationships with people and find end arounds to these systems. So, the other thing is that I do think that people need to be a bit more open-minded. Like, so let's say that you want to be an entrepreneur. Like, when I didn't know that I necessarily wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just knew that, like, I liked software and I wanted to build something. And maybe in the back of my mind, like, because it was the American dream. You saw a lot of software people doing well back then. Now it's like, I'm not sure I'd be so inspired by our current slate of software leaders. It seems to, they're a little gross, so they're not that inspirational.
Turns out they're all fascists. Whoopee.
Now they're all coming out against right now they're all coming out against the Minnesota ICE enforcement, but they waited until like about 1,000 people came first. They're like, all right, is it safe? I think it's bad too.
Oh, so, my God. And then you see, like, everybody's being like super generic about like what they're saying. Like, good Lord. Like, everybody's so afraid.
I believe in God and country.
Yeah. I support the rule of law. Well, why? Why do you feel like you need to come out now and say that? Come on now. Yeah, like, it would not be super inspiring. Like, I'm not like, I can't imagine there's a lot of kids out there being like, you know, I'd love to be just like Jeff Bezos outside of the money part of it.
Yeah. I want to strut around, look at two people at once. So, in any case, what I would say is that like the skilled trades are interesting because there's not enough people in them, and you're like, if you really want to like do well for yourself, like you're basically, I think the statistic that I heard, interviewed somebody that worked with them, and she said that 38% of people that go into skilled trades start their own business, and about 8% of people that go into white collar work start their own business. So
Really?
if you have it in your mind that you want to be an entrepreneur, then you might want to take a look at going into other things. And what I find interesting, first of all, I'm a big believer in a liberal arts and college education. So I think it's important for its own sake. It's a shame that it's so expensive.
Yes.
But a lot of people go, and after they graduate college, they might say, you know what, let me go to culinary school, or let me do, there's a couple of examples of things that seem like it's acceptable for people to go and do after they graduate college, but very few people are going into a skilled trade after they go into college. And I don't know why that stigma exists, but it's a shame that it does, and it would be nice if it could change, because we need these people.
So are you thinking like cottage industry shit is coming back? Like, do you think people are going to be like designing their own shoes or like suits of armor or some crazy stuff like that?
No, well, geez, maybe that. Actually, a suit of, if somebody
wouldn't you buy a suit of armor?
Company,
I
would totally buy one. And then
reach out to both of us, please.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think there's not enough people in the HVAC industry. There's not enough welders. There's not enough pipe fitters. There's not enough. I mean, imagine the insatiable appetite that these data centers have for people in those fields. It's like out of control. And these jobs are starting at like, they're starting, some of them like merchant marines and pilots. These are like 6-figure jobs,
right.
Starting,
Well, to your point, like if there's a need for HVAC and you learn how to do HVAC, then you have the opportunity to start your own HVAC company, and now you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and where you live, like, especially like out in Lenox, Massachusetts, in that area, nobody had air conditioning because everybody's like, oh, we don't need air conditioning up here. Guess what? Now you do. So like, there's all sorts of people in northern states that are coming online that, so, and you just can't find enough people to do
just
work.
Fucking roasting out there in Lenox. He's like, somebody turn up the air conditioning, please.
Exactly. Takes him longer to tune his guitars because they're all warped. So,
all right, I got one more question for you.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about your podcast? Because in association with the WaySpark thing, you've got a podcast called Dream Job Cafe, which I feel like, wasn't that the name of like a Flock of Seagulls album back in like 1982?
You're kidding. Was it?
No. I'm not sure. That's what it sounds like to me. Like Dream Job Cafe sounds like something directly out of the 80s. Like, couldn't you see Marty McFly walking into Dream Job Cafe in Back to the Future 1?
Are you sure you're not thinking of Spandau Ballet?
Oh, maybe I am. Yes.
True. They have an awesome song.
True, right? That's their song.
I promise you. Isn't that them?
Yes, I think you're right.
Well,
back to the podcast.
So it's not about that. It's
not about
80s
album. Rock, sadly.
No, it should be. Is it too late to change all the episodes? So,
no.
The idea here is, and by the way, a lot of this comes out with my own personal struggles, like trying to find work. Like when I came out of school, I thought I wanted to be. I was like, okay, I know I'm creative and I know I'm technical. I'll go into the film business, which is a really stupid way to do things, because like what you really should do is like, I have what I'm developing towards and I'm working towards is like, does it pass the family dinner test? Does the job that I want to go into allow me to, like on a scale of 1 to 10, am I going to be able to do family dinners? Take it a step further. Am I going to be able to coach a little league team? That's more involvement. You know what I mean? So, am I going to be able to take my kids on a trip to Disney World? Some sort of way to.
Can I interject slightly? Like, when you're talking to people as a consultant, are they thinking that far ahead at this point? Like younger people without families? Okay.
No, they're thinking, I'm good at math, so maybe I should be an accountant, is what they're thinking.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to do is say, okay, you're good at math, but how do you want your life to be? right? So how do you want to live your life? And by the way, like I work with a lot of young people, but I have a feeling that there's going to be like a lot of mid-career shifters coming up, and there might even be like, yeah, there might even be, since people are living so long, we may need that demographic to return to the workforce. So on
the podcast, you're not necessarily talking to job seekers. You're talking to people who have done it and trying to inspire the people you talk with.
Yes, mostly. Like 4 out of 5 episodes are directly with people. Like I just interviewed somebody who's like a major consultant at Deloitte. What's it like to be a consultant? What division are you in? How do you think about that? Like who would be a good consultant? Who should absolutely not be a consultant? And what's really interesting is that almost every single person I talk to says that the people that do well are people that handle volatility and ambiguity well, which is fascinating. Now, those are, I believe, 2 of the letters from VUCA, like volatile, uncertain, something, and then ambiguous, right? Like, but I don't think they're doing that on purpose. I think they're just saying that because that's what is required right now. They need people who are able to think on their feet and be adaptable to given situations. And everybody across the board is saying that. Because just you don't know what the future is going to hold.
Yeah.
But no, it is like, I've interviewed a bunch of financial people. They're like, listen, if you're like a raving gambling lunatic, it's probably not the right career. And also if you're afraid to take risks, it's probably not the right career. So they give really good advice about like who should and who should not go into the career.
Yeah.
They talk about like, well, I asked them, I'm like, all right, how often are you able to like, have dinner with your family? Do you have to move around a lot? Are you constantly traveling? So like really trying to paint a picture of not just like, oh, my skills equal this career, but my skills plus my life desires equals this career.
That's cool.
When I was a young adult, one of the things I was doing in addition to film is I got to work for a newspaper doing photojournalism. And I realized that, because I always wanted a family, I realized that when I was like at the peak of my career, they'd be like sending me to like Gaza. And I'm like, yeah, that's like not the kind of shit I want to be doing. I want to be home. I want to have my own books and my little library, and I want to have my kids and my cat and my dog. I don't want to be running all over the planet. So
and look at that. It turned out just that way. Weekly episodes of Dream Job Cafe.
Weekly episodes. Okay. And I've also, I do interview people that like know that I go up until like, all right, let's get you skilled up and let's get you figuring out what you want to do. What I don't do is like, let's get your resume polished. Let's get your LinkedIn profile. Let's do interviews. So 1 out of every 5 episodes or so, I talk to people that are in that realm and do that kind of consulting too.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
This all rounds up to the question of what do I want out of my life? And you know what I would want out of my life? To do another segment with you. Will you come back? Okay.
I will so come back.
We'll be back in a second. All right, everybody, welcome back. Yes, we've returned to the Counter Program. It's a podcast within a podcast. This is a conversational space where we can address usually unrelated topics that I want to explore at a greater depth with my guests. Expect no rhyme and very little reason. Larry, this is perfectly suited to your new endeavor.
Oh, good.
I'm bringing you back one of our popular segments called Hard Work. In it, I will tell you about jobs and jobs descriptions, but not all of them are real. Can you identify the fake jobs?
Okay, let's
ready?
do it.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Job number 1. Chronological architect. These are design experts who create historically accurate time bubbles for wealthy clients using sensory manipulation to stimulate living in any era. So we have chronological architects. Is that a real job?
No.
Oh, all right. It's not a real job. That was like very confident. How did you know that?
That's
so
ridiculous.
Quickly?
I mean,
have you ever seen Black Mirror?
There are companies actually, because when I was trying to figure out what business to start, I was looking at this thing. There's this category called age tech. This is when I was still entertaining the idea of being in the software business. And there's an accelerator that the AARP has, and one of the companies helps people like do these like nostalgia tours. Like, so you can like they hook them up with like, it sounds really cool, like virtual reality glasses, and then you can take them on Google Maps to the street that they were on and stuff. So there's kind of like an interesting application there.
I feel like this is going to be something that happens though. Like, I don't know, so like I don't want to buy software for it necessarily, but like, would it be cool to walk down the street I lived on in 1991? I think that'd be awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, it's like Walt Disney like basically built a glorified version of his hometown. You know, like so he could like walk down the street and stuff. Right. But go ahead. What's the next career?
Okay. Quantum janitor is the next career. Let me describe it to you. Okay. Maintenance worker who utilizes subatomic vacuums to clear reality debris and probability ghosts from laboratory particle accelerators after high energy collisions. Is there someone out there who is a quantum janitor cleaning up reality debris in science experiments? Yes or no?
This is an easy one. This is yes, because my cousin does this.
All right, tell me about it.
No, I don't know.
No, it's
Look,
fake.
It is fake.
Yeah.
It seems like they invest a lot of money in like the Hadron Collider and that shit. Somebody's probably got to clean it up, right?
Yeah, I think like maybe it's a little oversold with reality debris. I think we're talking about like Avengers Endgame kind of shit there.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm sure there's like someone who cleans up, but I don't think like they're cleaning up probability
severed legs,
ghosts.
Like twitching and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Ted didn't make it back from his journey to the past, but his leg did. All right, here's the next one. Dog food taster. It's right up your alley with the animal stuff. Quality control experts who sample various pet food formulations to evaluate flavor, textures, and nutritional consistency before market releases. Are there people out there who are dog food tasters?
Yeah, I would say so.
Definitely.
Okay. All right.
Can I share with you? I was watching, my daughter and I were watching YouTube last night, and they have this dog food out where it's like prepackaged dog food and like little chunks of chicken and vegetables. And I was like, I would totally eat that. Like, I would take a dog food pouch and eat that as my meal. Am I alone? Have you ever thought that? Because she was like, you're a lunatic.
Well, it always like, okay, so if you pay very close attention, we bought some of this for a while, and it has like cranberries in it, little chunks of carrots.
Yeah, it looks great.
And chunks of chicken. Yeah, it's pretty much all it is. But then it's like, okay, but if you buy it, it's just like, you know, like when you're a kid and like they show you like, you know, the sandwich on TV, and then you go get it and it looks like a piece of shit. It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
you
the
get
McRib.
the food, and it doesn't look like it. And they're always saying like that the dog's coat will be like so much better, but like if you feed your dog like science diet or whatever, like the coat's not getting much shinier. You know,
I think that's so
like maybe
like,
if they
what
get
if
like one of those dogs that's on the ASPCA commercials that are like starving and shivering in the middle of Siberia, and they feed it farmer's dog, yeah, the coat will look nicer.
I might try this and then see if like I go to a family reunion and my mom's like, wow, your coat is really shiny, or your hair's looking really good.
How about you put it in a casserole dish for Thanksgiving?
All right, I'm going to do that. It's dog food, bitches. Okay. Next job is Resurrectionist. Resurrectionist is a professional body snatcher who illegally dug up fresh corpses from graveyards to sell to medical schools for anatomical dissection. Was a resurrectionist a real job back in the day? Corpse
I know that
thieves.
people did this, and it's in fact, if you watch the movie Gangs of New York, they depict this, right?
Correct. Yes.
But yes,
you are
and
correct.
If you read Mary Roach's book Stiff, she talks a lot about this. But
you're doing well, by the way.
I didn't realize it had a title.
Resurrectionist. Yeah. Crazy, right?
All right.
All right, I got two more for you. The next one is vibe adjuster. Vibe adjuster. Consultants who use specialized incense specific light frequencies and hidden sub-bass frequencies to subconsciously manipulate the mood of luxury hotel elevators? Are there vibe adjusters coordinating your elevator experience at luxury hotels? You look skeptical.
I don't think so. I mean,
Correct.
if they are, then they're ripping people off. Okay.
Correct. All right, you're 4 of 5. This is one of the better
Okay.
performances I've ever seen. Okay, last
All right,
one.
good. Mm-hmm.
Purifinder. This job is called Purifinder. Victorian era workers who roamed the streets to collect dog feces, which was then sold to tanneries to be used as a purifying agent for softening leather. Were there purifinders in the Victorian era whose sole job was to collect dog shit?
Okay, on the one hand, that like totally tracks with the shit that you would imagine from the Victorian era. And tanneries in general as being the stinkiest, most disgusting
You're
places.
walking by Jack the Ripper with your bag for your dog shit. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah,
that could be
right,
how it went down.
exactly. Yeah, and the chimney sweeps, they're not covered in soot, they're covered in dog feces. Right. So I would think, but at the same time, you don't hear about them. Like you
Yeah.
don't like it's not like they're common in like Dickens or anything like that. Like they didn't
Right.
talk about like Tiny Tim being a purifinder. Like they didn't talk about that. So I
No.
would say no, it's not a real job.
It was actually
You're kidding
a real
me.
job. Yes.
Horrible job.
Well, the if there's one like silver lining to the Purifinder job, the most valuable shit was the old white dog feces. A little less messy. They didn't want the fresh stuff. So that is a real job. Well done, sir. This is how I know you were a legit career coach, host of the Dream Job Cafe. 4 of 6 in the counter program. Well played.
All right. Well, it sounds like if maybe if the philosophy degree did not land you a job, there's always a future in pure finding.
Wait, you're going to start recommending this to people. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, based on this assessment, I have some good news and some bad news.
Thank you for coming on. It's always a good time. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks to our guest, Larry Port. He's the first guest ever to join us for all 3 segments of the show. And he's also the chief coach at WaySpark. A lot of stamina with this guy. To learn more about Larry and WaySpark, visit wayspark.co. That's WAYSPARK.co. wayspark.co. Check them out. Now, because I'll always be a 90s kid who wore out into the great wide open on CD and whose true passion is burning CDs for anyone who would listen, I'm now just doing the modern version of that, which is creating Spotify playlists for every podcast episode that I record where the songs are tangentially related to an episode topic. For this week's playlist, I'm diving back into the Tom Petty catalog. I made a Tom Petty playlist before, but this is TP 2.0 and it's sponsored by Publix grocery stores. No, it's not. Maybe we'll get to Winn-Dixie one day. Start small, you know. Maybe Market Basket. Join us next time when I'll do a backflip, I suppose.